another exciting episode of Ballers to Balding, where, as always, we're going to have some strong takes and some weak follicles. If you enjoy what you hear, or if you hate it, but you love hating it, please like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram and Spotify, because emotional charity can be just as fulfilling as monetary donations. Think of it as a GoFundMe for our self-esteem. Ross!
Yes,
Good to see you, buddy. How you been?
Doing great.
What's going on?
I'm just having the best day, because before we came on the air today, I cut my nails. Now, I got to tell you, when you cut your nails, it is I feel totally sated. Such a satisfying feeling. And I have to tell you, I don't know if you've noticed this, but as I get older, I have to cut my nails more and more often. Like, I'm probably 1.5 times per week. And if I ever miss a week, I look like Howard Hughes. I have to constantly be cutting my nails. Thoughts? Do you have the same thing as you're getting older?
I am a little blown away, actually, that you brought up nail grooming, because I am going through a major transition with my nail care right now.
Do tell.
The fact is,
I want to hear.
I'm terrible at nail care. Some men can trim. You probably can trim your nails.
I'm trimming everywhere, my friend. I'm trimming everywhere.
You have this elusive skill to make clean cuts, and that's not me. I approach nail trimming like I'm defusing a bomb. If I cut it too short, my nail pads hurt for like a week, and if I cut it too long, I look like I've been digging for truffles. It's a mess, and there's no middle ground for me. I've tried clippers, I've tried scissors, nothing works. And then there's my toes are the worst. My toes are the worst. They're always jagged, So like when they grow, they become dangerous. My wife has said it's like sleeping with a rake. There was one time, I kid you not, where she wandered over to my side of the bed. She must have lost a sock or something. And so she was on my side of the bed, and my foot accidentally scraped against her leg, and I drew blood. I'm not kidding. And look, I can joke away a lot of stuff, but I understand how no one would want to share a bed with Edward Scissorfeet. It's not fun. So
you're like the male version of FloJo.
Oh, it's the Watts. Anyway, so long story short, I have dogs, right?
Yes.
And the one thing I have in common with the dogs is a hatred of nail trimming. So a few weeks ago, I'm in bed, doom scrolling late at night, and I saw this ad for an electric dog nail grinder. And it's basically a Dremel specifically made for dogs. And, the ad said, it's gentle, it's quiet, there's low vibration, it won't scare pets. So, of course, I got to do this for my dogs. So I get it. As you might expect, they freaking hate it.
Of course.
All right? They hate it.
Of course.
And so to show them that there was nothing to be afraid of, I said, look, there's nothing to be afraid of. And I did it on my own nail. And my life changed. I love this thing. I love it. I file my nails down. They're smooth. The nail bed's fine. They're a good shape. It's unbelievable. And it's just a little bit of nail dust, which, if that gets on the floor, no one's going to see it, right? I should do it over the trash. I don't, but I don't need to. Don't tell her. Look at this. I could be a hand model for the first time in look at those nails. Well, usually they're all cut up and everything. And it's unbelievable. I am a grown man whose greatest self-improvement over the last few years came from a dog grooming accessory.
What I think
I'll show, where is it? I have.
So let me see. What I do find interesting about this story is,
I have it in my drawer.
This is now the second story you've shared with our audience. Oh, look at it. This is.
Wait, can you see the little dog on it?
Of course you can. You could put it right next to the dog shampoo that you're using.
You can't even hear it. This is it, just like that. It's unbelievable. It's changed my life, Ross.
Like I said, you've got the dog shampoo, you got the nail clipper for the dogs. I think you're becoming a canine. Because look at those canine teeth. Show the audience that. All right, let's get into it.
Maybe we should talk about sports.
I think so.
First, we have to get to everyone's favorite segment, the douchebag of the week. All right?
Mm-hmm.
And let me just point out that a douchebag of mine a number of weeks ago was Myles Garrett, because Myles Garrett had gotten 8 speeding tickets going 120 miles an hour. And I was like, what a douchebag. Well, he just got traded to the Rams. So now I got to worry about him on the LA freeways. I don't have enough to worry about. I'm looking over my shoulder for Myles Garrett. He's going to plow me off the road. Anyway, You want to go first? You want me to go
Why
first?
don't you go first, big guy?
All right. For the second week in a row, I am picking a relief pitcher in Major League Baseball as my douchebag of the week. This time it's Abner Uribe of the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, what did Abner do to win this prestigious award? Well, he displayed poor sportsmanship and celebrated excessively. But to paint the picture, you have to know why he was celebrating, okay? Did he strike out Shohei Ohtani with the bases loaded? No, he did not. Did he throw a no-hitter? Nah, he didn't do that either. Did he save a child from an errant foul ball? Not even close. So what was this great accomplishment? Better brace yourself, Ross. Abner Uribe struck out a Cardinals outfielder, Alec Burleson, to end the 8th inning of a regular season game on a Tuesday night in May. And by the way, his team, the Brewers, were already up 6-0. One strikeout in a blowout game. And then, in what can only be called an epic douche move, he turned toward the Cardinals dugout and delivered 3 aggressive crotch chops. Now, for anyone who's under 30 or spent the 90s being productive, let me explain what a crotch chop is. It's a taunt made famous by WWE wrestlers circa 1998. You basically repeatedly chop your hands towards your own crotch, essentially communicating the message, eat shit, you fucking loser. So it was a gesture that was started by professional wrestlers and then adopted by middle schoolers, amped up on Mountain Dew. And now, apparently, it's a celebration for a baseball reliever. Total dick move. The funny thing about this is Abner Uribe is actually, he's a good player. This wasn't some scrub trying to draw a little attention for himself. This is a guy who throws 102 miles an hour, celebrating a routine strikeout like he just got the call from Cooperstown. It was so cringe that even the Brewers manager, Pat Murphy, threw him under the bus. After the game, he said, and I quote, "That's just not how we do things." I was embarrassed by it. It's a 6-0 game. What are we doing out there?
Wow.
Now, that doesn't even sound like a manager. That sounds like a dad picking up a kid from the principal's office. Definitely has that "I'm not mad at you, I'm just really disappointed" kind of vibe. As for the Cardinals, did they charge the mound? No, they didn't start a fight. They were more confused than angry. They were looking at Uribe the way you look at a grown man who's arguing with a vending machine, which, by the way, I saw last night. That's where I got it. Live in Los Angeles, after all. Now, Major League Baseball, on the other hand, was a little more salty. They viewed Abner's behavior to be an unacceptable level of douchebaggery and suspended him for 1 game. So in over a century of baseball, there's been gambling scandals and corked bats, steroids, sign stealing, and spitballs. But I think Abner Uribe is the first player in the history of the sport to be suspended for conducting a one-man karate demonstration on his own penis. So, I got to tell you, that's a sentence you don't hear often, right? So, congratulations to Abner Uribe. You turned a strikeout into WrestleMania, displaying the largest overreaction since Ross discovered UV rays and then dedicated his entire life to tanning. And you are my douchebag of the week. And may I humbly request that you celebrate this honor, I don't know, with maybe just a little fist bump or something.
I like it. I like it. Good job. Good job.
Did you know what a crotch chop was?
I did not until you described it. You described it with the. It was awesome. I really appreciate it. So my douchebag of the week is actually someone who you probably haven't heard of. His name is Adolfo Daniel Vallejo, and he was recently fined $65,000 by the French Tennis Federation, as well as the Roland Garros tennis tournament organizers, because Mr. Vallejo made sexist comments at the French Open about the lead official in his second round loss, and her name is Anna Carvalho. And so what happened? Well, apparently, during his match, Vallejo was playing against a Frenchman, an 18-year-old Frenchman named Moise Kunami. And Moise beat him. And as part of the actual tournament, and as part of the actual match, Moise started to rile up the crowd because, again, he's a Frenchman. He's 18 years old. He's the youngest person to ever make it to the next round since Rafael Nadal. So this was a huge deal for the French, and they were getting all riled up. They were all excited about it. And ultimately, he won, and he beat our douchebag, Mr. Vallejo. So what did Mr. Vallejo say? Well, after the match, instead of saying, well, this is what a great accomplishment by this 18-year-old, he said, you know what? Here's my problem. This sort of match, and this is a quote, needs to be umpired by a man, not by Ana Carvajal. And it's very difficult for a woman to do this, and you have to have a lot of strength to go against the crowd. So he was blaming his loss on the fact that the crowd was getting riled up and that Ana, according to him, could not control the crowd, which, of course, according to him, a man could do much better. Really, Adolfo? Nothing like being a sore loser. I mean, maybe if you'd beaten the guy who's so young that he doesn't understand that Michael Jordan is not the bad guy in the Black Panther, maybe if you beat that guy, maybe you wouldn't have had a problem with the lead official for not being able to control the crowd. And by the way, you worried about the French? You worried about the French getting riled up? Why didn't you just yell out Achtung? And then they all would have surrendered. Okay. And one last thing. Because I was preparing for today's podcast, I did some research on the judge. Again, her name is Ana Carvajal. And Paul, I'd ask you to put her picture up on the screen.
Oh, all right. Let me, I'll find one right now. Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
One thought when I did this, meow. Wow. Oh my God. Really? Really, Adolfo? Men weren't listening to her? I'd walk 100 miles to stand in her garbage. Every guy, let me tell you, every guy in that crowd was listening to her as well as sending her a DM on Instagram. Sorry, I don't buy it. You, my friend, are a douchebag and a fucking idiot. You should have been hitting on her. Wow.
Yeah. She's kind of attractive. Maybe maybe they were riled up because of her.
Let me just tell you, she's also Brazilian. Which means that she and I have something in common as far as our cuts. Anyway, I digress. All right, so let's get to the finals, man. NBA finals.
Well, the interesting thing is they start tonight, so we're going to talk about this, and then by the time this airs, the game will have already been played. So people will be watching this and saying either, wow, good point, or what an idiot.
So I am picking the Knicks. I don't want to hide the headline. I just think that San Antonio is too young. I look at the Knicks. They're well rested. They have overall better health. Now, Mitchell Robinson is playing tonight despite having surgery on his pinky, but he is available, and he's not like he's a shooter anyway. And they've had such an easy pass to the finals. They didn't end up playing the 1 or 2 seeds, Detroit or the Celtics. Now, you could say if you're a Knicks fan, well, that's because they didn't beat the Sixers and the Cavs. Well, first of all, those were unique situations, but I would also argue that basketball is all matchups, and Detroit kicked the shit out of the Knicks all during the season. Now, again, that's okay, Knicks fans, and that's okay, Knicks, because you play who's in front of you, and that happens, and people have said that about the Celtics from 24. They had an easy path, but that team was a 64-win team. This is a team is a 53-win team, and they're kicking the hell out of all the opponents. Still, I think they have a good team. I think they're well-rested, and and my concern about San Antonio is they're too darn young. I watch them. They turn now against Oklahoma City, granted, they have a lot of turnovers. They go through periods where they can't score because sometimes Wemby gets bodied up and he has trouble establishing himself. So even though if I was a betting man, I would pick San Antonio. I think the Knicks are going to win in 6. And by the way, Yep. And by the way, to all my Boston compatriots who are like, oh, I don't want the Knicks. I don't want the Knicks. Oh, the Knicks. I hate New York fans. Guys, who cares if the Knicks win? As I said in a previous podcast, they're a nice little story. They're not really a rival of the Celtics. If they win, it'll be their 3rd championship, only 15 behind the Celtics. It's good for the NBA for the Knicks to be good. So don't just lean into it. Good for you, Knicks. You're a nice, cute little story.
My feeling of the series is that, it all comes down to Wemby. for me.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yep.
can the Knicks survive 4 to 7 games against a basketball player who looks like he was built by a government laboratory? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because, I mean, Wemby he's 7'4", he shoots, he threes, he handles the ball, he blocks shots, he guards everyone. I mean, he's unreal. And they basically, it's the Spurs have the best player, but I agree with you. The Knicks have a better collection of players.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you're a Knicks fan, I think you look at it and you go, no one's going to stop Wemby. All right? Not the Knicks, not the laws of physics, not the military, no one. I mean, if he's playing well, that's the thing about him, is that he's so unique. He's young, but he's so unique that when he's on, he's unstoppable. But the goal isn't to stop him. It's just to make him uncomfortable. And that's the Knicks have Karl Anthony Towns. And Towns needs to be hitting threes and shooting from outside, because if he can drag Wemby, if he drags Wemby out of the paint, then Brunson has room to operate.
Yes.
And if Brunson gets to the paint, the Knicks have a chance. But if Brunson, starts getting swallowed up by a 7'4" French octopus, it's a tougher thing for them. The other thing about the Knicks is they need Josh Hart and all the role players really to hit shots, because I guarantee you the Spurs are looking at the Knicks and saying, anybody but Brunson. Yep. You know what I mean? That's their goal, to stop him. If you're the Spurs, for the Spurs, their plan is simpler. It's basically get Wemby the ball, number one, and number two, see plan number one. They got to get him involved. And honestly, I felt like he was too outside of the paint against Oklahoma City. They need him a little closer to the basket. I mean, you're helping them out. Obviously, he can get it up top, but if they get him in low, he's unstoppable if he gets the ball in a certain spot. Yeah. Anyway, the other thing I don't think I've heard anyone talk about, and tell me if I'm wrong about this, but De'Aaron Fox, nobody's talking about if he's healthy. Yeah. Is he going to be healthy? Now the Knicks have two problems, and they got to deal with a guy who runs a 4.3 40 dribbling a basketball. That opens up a lot of shit for them. So, and the other thing is what you said, the Knicks have been the best team in the playoffs. I don't care. Oh, they haven't played this. They played teams that were in the playoffs. They didn't play teams that sucked, and they won 11 in a row, and they killed them. It does bother me, though. I mean, it has made Knicks fans cocky. You say, who cares? I care. They're starting to sound like Lakers fans. It's disgusting. Well, okay.
That's
Meanwhile, the Spurs, survived a 7-game battle against Oklahoma City. So the Knicks are rested, ready for this, and the Spurs are tested.
Ooh.
Right? So what role is that going to play? Who the hell knows? That's what we'll find out starting tonight. I think the Spurs probably win maybe in 7 games, because I feel like betting on a 7'4" basketball unicorn seems reasonable to me. But if the Knicks play well, they're going to win. And by the way, their fans will immediately become the most insufferable human beings on planet Earth. So honestly, for me, that's one of the strongest arguments to pull for the Spurs. You don't seem to care about that.
I just, any time, like I said, the easiest response to a Knicks fan is, you're a cute little story, the little engine that could. Once you become a rival of the Celtics, let's talk. But right now, you're just not. By the way, can you imagine if Wemby did the crotch chop?
I know.
It'd be like the Space Needle. I mean, everything about him is big and long. Just leave it at that. Yeah. All right. What's next?
Well, we're going to take another question that we got from viewers, and I like this one. Last time we were talking about the biggest disappointment. Someone else said, which was your favorite sports moment growing up in Boston that you remember? For me, there are a lot of choices, but I am going with Game 4, 1984 NBA Finals. Celtics versus Lakers, Boston versus Los Angeles, good versus evil. Now, you have to remember what was happening at that time. The Lakers were Showtime. Magic Johnson, Kareem, James Worthy, fast breaks, alley-oops, Hollywood. They were the basketball version of a convertible speeding down Sunset Boulevard. And the Celtics, Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, slow, physical, very white. Game 3, they're tied 1-1. They go out to Los Angeles, and the Lakers absolutely humiliated them. Ran them off the floor. Made them look
Yes.
slow. Made them look like their sneakers were filled with wet cement. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. And after the game, Larry Bird in the locker rooms being interviewed, and he ripped on his team. He famously called them all a bunch of sissies. Then he said, and I quote, "We're a team that plays with heart and soul, and the heart just wasn't there." He challenged their toughness. He challenged their pride. Now, I know it sounds harsh by today's standards. In 2026, those statements would require 3 apologies and a media consultant and mandatory sensitivity training. But in 1984, that wasn't offensive. That was leadership, man. That was motivation. That was Larry Bird looking at 11 grown men and saying, "I question your manhood." And the entire team responding by saying, "Larry's got a point."
Yep.
In game 4, the Celtics came out angry. I was watching it. I was at a party with friends. It was the greatest night. They turned the game into a street fight. They pushed, they grabbed. Kevin McHale clotheslined Kurt Rambis, almost started World War III. The Celtics knocked Showtime completely out of their rhythm, and the Lakers were thrown. They wanted a ballet, and the Celtics gave them a bar fight. It was blue collar versus Hollywood, lunch pail versus limousines, and it worked, man. The Celtics won the game, stole home court advantage back, and eventually won the championship. And to this day, that is one of the most satisfying sports victories I've ever watched. Not just because they won, but because how they won. They got embarrassed. They got challenged. And instead of trying to become the Lakers or playing like the Lakers, they just doubled down on being the Celtics. If crotch chops existed in 1984, I would have spent the entire night performing one after another in the general direction of Los Angeles. My final point about this is the Lakers were probably a better team.
Yep.
They probably were a better team, but it was the Celtics who hung the banner. And game 4 is what turned it around. That was the series. It was awesome.
It was awesome.
Did I do it justice?
You did. You did. I just have one question. Was your satisfaction to that win the same, better, or worse versus the first time you used the dog nail cutter on your own nails?
It was different. I would say that I felt both were joyous. Both were a sense of relief. Okay. But in 84, I was young with my entire life in front of me. There was a certain sadness with the nail clippers that I didn't discover it 30 years ago. I mean, it's like, why now? I'll be dead in 5 years probably, and I'm going to have good nails for 5 years. What's the fucking point?
It's so true. All right.
Devastating.
All right.
But I mean, it really has changed my life.
All right. Well, let me just say, that's awesome. And I think your selection is awesome. I will give you mine. Mine is the 2004 Red Sox World Series champs.
Of course.
And it's hard to not say that winning the World Series was the most joyous part of that, because it was. I mean, if they beat the Yankees, but then they lose the World Series, it just wouldn't have been good. It's almost like if the 80 hockey team had beaten the Russians and lost to Finland.
Good analogy.
But as far as my overall happiness and great moment, it was beating the Yankees in the American Championship Series, in the Championship Series. I mean, again, people who listen may not realize how brutal it was to be a Red Sox. It wasn't just that the Red Sox lost before 2004. It was the way they lost. Game 7, 1975 World Series against the Reds. They lose on a bloop single by Joe Morgan. 1986 World Series, I think the most famous. Errors. They're one strike away 2 times from winning the World Series. They're 1 out for multiple batters. They end up losing that game on, as I said, Bill Buckner's error. And then 2003, Red Sox lose game 7 of the championship series against the Yankees when Aaron Boone hits a home run off Tim Wakefield. R.I.P. What happens in 2004? They're down 0-3. They get their asses kicked in game 3. I think it was like 18-6 or something crazy. Gary Sheffield is hitting the ball almost through the green monster. He's hitting it so hard. And then the magical game 4. They're about to lose the game. Kevin Millar gets a walk. Dave Roberts steals second base. Bill Miller hits him in. Big Poppy twice, game 4, game 5. I'm getting chills as I say this. Kurt Schilling, Johnny Damon. It was every single guy on that team contributed to that victory. It was so awesome. I loved it. And again, even right now as I'm telling this story, I'm welling up inside for the pride and happiness it was and how great it was to beat the Yankees.
Can I tell you? You see, you don't know how bad it was for Red Sox fans. First of all, beating the Yankees was cathartic. You almost, to finally get over the curse, they almost had to beat the Yankees in that way. All right. And, the curse, it really affected me. I hate, even as an adult, when I was like, all right, I'm not even going to worry about it anymore. I worried about it. And I don't remember if you know, but in the 9th inning, Reds in game 4 against the Cardinals, we're up 3-0 in the series. We're up 3-0 in the game. Leadoff hitter is Albert Pujols, and he hits a single. And I melt down. I'm like, here it comes. They're going to lose. They're going to lose. I was convinced. I was like, here it is. Single, another single. They're going to lose the game. Then they'll lose. Then they'll do the same thing. And it's that same thing as always. They're going to lose. They're going to lose. And then folk, got 3 guys out. What a great cathartic. And it wasn't just that they won it. It's the way they won it.
Yep.
It gave us the greatest comeback ever. And then what they did is they got in the World Series and they said, all right, we're not going to make you guys sweat.
Yep.
We're going to kick the shit out of them.
Yep.
Have fun.
Yep.
And, they've won a bunch since then. People don't realize. They don't remember how painful Bucky Dent's home run was. 86 was.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, my God. I forgot it. Thank you. 78.
78.
Bucky Dent. I'm sorry. I forgot about that one.
That was that. I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Anyways, those are happy memories. The 2004 and the Celtics in 84. It was just great.
Awesome.
All right, Ross. It was great seeing you. And we'll take a week off. I'll probably grind a little bit on my nails. You'll obviously cut yours maybe 2 or 3 times. And we'll come back next week and we'll reconnect and we'll talk about.
All right, buddy.
And you know what's exciting? We're going to see if we were right about the championship.
Looking forward to it. Love you, my man.
Love you too. Take care.